My ex-wife, Maria Lagueta, your Aunt Deb, your mother.
Dexter Resurrection Episode 4, Call Me Red. We finally got to see Leon Prater, and Peter Dinklage did not disappoint. This Prater fella sure does love himself a good serial killer. His private collection is a museum-like tribute to the most infamous serial killers in history. Among other things, his vast collection includes Jeffrey Dahmer's fridge, Charlie Manson's acoustic guitar, and he even got a hold of the Trinity Killer's framing hammer. And look at that! Some degenerate gambler at the FBI even enabled Prater to get his hands on Dexter's very own bloodslide collection. Beyond that, Prater knows his serial killer history, even aware of the fact that Trinity was a misnomer because he actually killed in fours. Sooner or later, I get the impression Prater is going to figure out that Red is an imposter. Not only do I believe Prater will properly identify him as the Bay Harbor Butcher, I think Prater will be ecstatic upon making the discovery. Dexter meets a bunch of other serial killers at Prater's little high society cabal catered to such ilk, and he again looks like a kid in a candy store, both because he has a bunch of potential victims that likely do not require the normal vetting process to adhere to the code, but also because it acts like a bit of a support group. He even lands a hot date with Lady Vengeance, whom he soon learns has her own kind of code, predicated on her origin story leading to her first kill. Dexter's hot date gets cut short because he has more pressing matters. Meeting Lowell, the tattoo collector. Despite lacking his tools and having no prep time to speak of, Dexter improvises and prevents him from taking his next would-be victim, where Dexter actually used Lowell's own tools of the trade against him. Dexter takes him out and finishes him off, being true to himself, admitting he is Dexter Morgan, the Bay Harbor Butcher, before ending the illustrious career of the tattoo collector. Dex even grabs himself a makeshift trophy, reverting back to prior form. The problem here, as Dex himself discussed with nutjob Harry, how will it look if Prater's prize serial killers all begin vanishing right after the new guy shows up? Again, this leads me to believe that Prater will know his history, and sooner or later he will realize he got more than he bargained for by sending Red an invitation. Meanwhile, Batista's story continues being the driving force behind Dexter Resurrection, even with all the interesting stuff happening with Prater and his band of serial killers. Batista tracked down the guy who bought the truck, and soon learns that he bought the car not from Jim Lindsay, but rather from Harrison Morgan. Batista confronts Harrison, and tries playing him when he discovers Harrison believes Dexter to be dead. Elsa doesn't help Harrison's cause when she tips Batista off to the murder, which he was none the wiser to. This leads Batista to approach rock star Claudette, who herself is still mighty suspicious of Harrison. With Batista exchanging notes with Claudette, things are looking bleak for Harrison. Batista confronts Harrison for a second time, noting that he learned about the murder of Ryan Foster and how he was disposed of, not unlike the way the Bay Harbor Butcher got rid of his victims. Harrison also has the loose end watch to contend with. Batista's words resonated with Harrison when he mentioned that Dexter ruined the lives of LaGuerta, Aunt Deb, and of course, Harrison's own mother, Rita. Batista's warning that Harrison was going down a dark path likewise touched Harrison, because not long after, Harrison appeared ready to make a full confession about everything. Only that didn't happen because Dexter finally revealed himself to his son, and Harrison now knows that Dexter lives. Call Me Red was, in my opinion, a great transitional episode that is firing on all gears. Dexter is back in a groove, and a whole new world is opening before his eyes because of that oddball Prater. Batista is on the prowl, and he is slowly piecing things together, and now he may well have the assistance of rock star Claudette. I still believe that Quinn is on to Batista, and that he will find his way into the mix eventually, where he will become a key player. If Batista doesn't wind up being a casualty in the hunt for Dexter, perhaps Quinn will be the one to take the fall. On that note, I have a bad feeling that tragedy will befall Blessing's family in some form or another. Perhaps one of the fellow serial killers will play a role here while hunting for Dexter. Harrison was near the breaking point, ready to reveal all until his father intervened. The whole season, Dexter's guilt over the entire Harrison ordeal has been eating away at him, as evidenced by his inner nutjob Harry monologues. If Harrison does get into trouble with the law, it certainly feels like Dexter would be willing to sacrifice himself for his son. At the same time, despite nearly spilling the beans to law enforcement, it likewise feels like Harrison might be willing to do whatever it takes to protect his old man, even if it means eliminating Batista on his own, should the opportunity arise. I, for one, hope it doesn't play out that way. I'm 100% Team Batista here, where I hope that he is the one who finally exposes Dexter as the Bay Harbor Butcher for the entire world to see, regardless of whether he lives long enough to bring Dexter to justice himself. But however the inevitable showdown between Dexter and Batista plays out, I think Dexter Resurrection is off to a rockin' start. The best start of any Dexter season dating at least back to season 5. Excluding Original Sin, which I think was something a little different. With the Dexter and Harrison reunion, Leon Prater's bizarre fascination of serial killers where his motives are largely still unknown, a handful of new serial killers for Dexter to dissect with surgical-like precision, including his new love interest, Lady Vengeance. There's a lot of fun stuff going on, and no doubt these story elements will overlap with Batista's investigation where he is clearly on the warpath. What do you think so far? Please share your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed, and have a wonderful night.
I almost stabbed a kid on a basketball court once. My dad stopped me.
Damn it, Dexter. There are consequences to everything you do in life. Lose control, become powerless, and it's over.
And then she said the craziest thing. She intimated that you were the Bay Harbor Butcher.
We've had some deaths in Iron Lake that are very similar to an old Miami Metro case. Do you remember the Bay Harbor Butcher?
Cristo, that was a gruesome one. And when I talked with her the very next day, after her calling me with that accusation, she's backtracked on everything. Made a mistake, she says.
I was just looking more closely at the dates of James's Special Forces missions and...
We have a positive ID on the body.
And there may be an additional date which puts him out of the country.
The burn victim is Sergeant Dokes.
He says Dokes was out of the country doing classified shit when some of the BHB killings took place.
Maria told me, in confidence, that she was certain that you were the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Why is Dexter in handcuffs?
I have proof he's the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Dokes is the Bay Harbor Butcher. Have you lost your mind? Dexter, what is this?
I don't know.
The Bay Harbor Butcher took blood slides from his victims. Dexter is a blood spatter analyst, and Dokes always thought there was something off about Dexter.
Your instincts were dead on. They're always dead on when it comes to killers. Why is that? You're connected to this. I don't know how, but I'm gonna find out, and some of what I find is gonna stick to your ass. Jesus fucking Christ, you're the Bay Harbor Butcher.
I really hate that name.
I always knew there was something with you. But this shit...
What can I say? You were right about me.
What if Dokes was onto him? Jesus, what if Dexter is the real Bay Harbor Butcher?
What if he isn't?
Are you the Bay Harbor Butcher?
This is a place to talk about this. Deb?
We found definitive proof in that boathouse that Dokes was the Bay Harbor Butcher, and that despite me advising you to cease and desist, you continued on this reckless course.
You want to make a change, Morgan, now's the time. All you gotta do is let me out of here. It's over, man.
It is over when I say it is! That's exactly the way the Bay Harbor Butcher did it.
I really hope they catch that guy.
I'm Dexter Morgan.
Who's that?
The Bay Harbor Butcher.
But we all know that the Bay Harbor Butcher was Dokes, right?
Surprise, motherfucker.
When it all goes down, believe me, you'll understand. But for now, the less you know, the better.